Okay. Lot going on. Life is good. New grandbaby on the way, November. Real excited. The first grandbaby's too, so having a lot of fun. Doing a lot of things, beach and some things. So things are real good. Feeling good. Things that have been going on in my head. I mentioned last time, or one of the previous podcasts, I grabbed Liza Minnelli's book. We're going to put a picture up of the book. Most of us, my contemporaries, my friends, we're not Liza Minnelli fans. There's just, either we're disco or oldies or rock and roll. But there's nobody I could say is a Liza Minnelli fan. And she was a great talent, but the book, she really faced up to her demons, a lifetime of struggles. But the takeaway I had from it, I mean, it was nice that she shared that. But Gary Lab was her road manager for over 20 years. She didn't mention him once. And not that he needed recognition, but when she was banged up and tired and whatever influence she was under, didn't want to go and sing, 2-3 hours before you got to be on the stage, sleeping. That's where Gary shined. I don't know how he did it. He got her on that stage because, let's face it, when you're already marginal, regardless of the talent, you have she's not selling out Madison Square Garden unless she's working with Frank Sinatra. So it's easy to ruin a career at the drop of a hat. You start canceling shows, word gets out, all of a sudden nobody's calling to book you. So, a shout out to Gary for years of getting her on that stage and keeping her career alive. I wanted to look up, Matt, when Liza's last live performance was. Grab that. We were looking through, Matt and I were looking through all my travel itineraries of the 5 years that I traveled with Sinatra and Liza Minnelli was on the tour, Sammy Davis Jr. So we were looking at all these dates, and I started to think about Sammy Davis Jr. in a different way. I got to know him not that much. When he first came on board, it was when I first started to travel with. There was going to be that big tour. Frank, Dean, and Sammy together again. It was called, and it started out in early 1988. And it was, I probably mentioned it, or people that know me know, 3 or 4 shows into the tour, Dean Martin, in the middle of the night from Chicago, he just leaves the tour. So that just left Sammy and Sinatra to do the rest of the tour, which was, there's probably another 10 cities left of arenas and like 4 or 5 night engagements in theaters. So nobody turned their tickets in because Dean Martin wasn't there. What it did for me to see Sammy Davis Jr., instead of doing 5 songs, 6 songs, now he's doing 8 or 9 songs. And I had no idea this guy was that kind of a talent. Really blew me away. Most of us will remember Sammy Davis Jr. I think he had that pop hit, The Candyman. And but he could sing and dance, show tunes. He did a song, and I wasn't able to get any audio. He does a song from Phantom of the Opera. I'm telling you, my jaw was on the floor. Couldn't believe it. And the audience knocked them out. Because, maybe you go there, you're expecting show tunes, a little dancing, and Candyman can. And there's Sammy, he's belting out, opera. Really, real impressive. And so I started to think about how fortunate I was just to have a little time with this talent. He toured with us almost all of 1988, and I think he was diagnosed with cancer in '89. So we toured, and he toured just with Sinatra. Then it was a Frank, Liza, and Sammy show all around the world with that. And then he couldn't clear his throat one night. And I don't know, I think it was not even a year later, 9 months, he was gone, Sammy. I believe it was throat cancer, and singing is the throat, but smoking and drinking for sure. They're from that generation where a cigarette was always in your mouth, But to meet Sammy, I got to know he was such a generous soul, and he traveled. Now, until he traveled with an entourage, I don't think there were too many entourages the way we see now. He had a security guy, he had a sound and light guy, he had a manager, he had a road manager, he had 2 or 3 musicians. He had a good group of people, but they were used to playing smaller theaters, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 seaters, and he worked. I bet you he worked 200 nights a year, this guy. And he loved doing it, but still hotel and travel. No matter how nice the hotel, you surround yourself with. I know Sammy traveled with pots and pans. So you set up in the hotels, and what struck me was, in that short time I got to know him, was his generosity with his people, and even myself. He showed his generosity. He was affiliated with this golf outing. It was in Connecticut, and it was sponsored by Canon, I guess cameras back then, Canon cameras, copiers, whatever they did. And he was a spokesman for that. So he would go to the golf outing, I guess, meet and greets and that kind of stuff. So after that, he came back on the tour. He gave cameras out to everybody. And I tell you, you don't expect that. You just don't expect the talent. I'm just putting the tours together, running around. Really impressed me to where I treasured that camera. It wasn't a digital. It was probably late 90s, so no digital cameras were just maybe coming around. So it was a 35 millimeter, put the film in. And we still have it. Matt has it now. He's a photographer, and one of the things. So it's a real treasure. We enjoyed it. He gave me also here's a word for you, an attaché case. that we're going to post a picture of that. I use it all the time for my, it's like my little office. I keep all the papers in there, mail, checkbook. I pull it out. Like my little filing system, all in the bag that Sammy gave me. And that's going to go a long time, too, because that's going to go, my guys, they'll take that bag and they'll know it's special. That Sammy had given me that bag. And like I said, it was unfortunate because I probably would have been doing a lot more touring with him moving forward. But it wasn't to be. And we went all around the world with Sammy. And I don't think he played all around the world for sure, in all his years. I think he's in the entertainment business 50 years from when he was like 15. Very appreciative of all of us that booked the tours and the people got their money's worth with Sammy. So it was kind of sad that he went so quick. And, as we were looking through the itineraries and all my stops, Matt noticed that in the spring of '90, we canceled 2 shows at Radio City Music Hall, Liza Minnelli and Frank Sinatra, I believe, because Sammy had passed away. So that's how quick it happened, and it was a sad time for everybody that got to know him. As I looked through these tour dates, I can't believe all the spots I went. And I sort of. We looked at them in chronological order, and, you're all over the world. Would come back maybe 5 days, and then you're going back out, because not only did we go on these big tours, it was, Sinatra worked with Sammy, then Frank, Liza, Sammy. What else did we do? Then Steve and Edie, we brought them all around the world, too. Not too many people knew them in Europe or anything, but they're entertaining, and they were, Sinatra at that point, you weren't just putting anybody up there on the stage with him. There had to be a sense of familiarity, and they were fun, every night, whatever sitting in the hotel lobby or sitting in the hotel bar, dinner, Steve and Edie were troopers. Hanging out, telling stories. Sinatra loved it. And we went to some spots on that tour, too. Europe and U.S., a lot of cities. They did one of the tours, I think it was Frank, Liza, and Sammy Ultimate Event, that was. 1 year of shows. And then you sprinkle in Sinatra working in Atlantic City and Las Vegas. It's a lot of work for a guy, 75, and they were concerned. Well, everybody was making money, so not everybody was concerned. But Frank Sinatra Jr. did on more than one occasion let the management know that they weren't happy with the bookings. But Sinatra and, Barbara Sinatra helped get him on those planes and get him to the shows, too. So it was an interesting time for me. Moving forward, I'm still trying to polish myself up on the videos. I need a little work. I'm not a professional, and I think I could do a better job. So the few things I've done, I got to work on it. I think I'm talking over people, so I'm not putting anything out yet. I'm still good talking to myself and videoing myself, but I'm gonna start bringing some video in. Coming up, Kick the Can podcast. I'm hoping in the next week or two, Stephen Albano again, talk about some Hoffman Street stuff and that. And in a couple of weeks, Ferragusto. So I'm going to go down. Matt will come. We'll talk to people. We'll pretty much wing it. But if you have my cell phone number, most people do, ring me up. You're going to be at Ferragusto. We'll look to you, and you know, I'll be looking to chat with anybody, and also you can email the podcast. So I try to hook up, get some content. What else is going on? I wanted to throw something out there also. Believe it or not, it's in 2 years is going to be Mount Carmel class of 68. 60 years, Matt. 60-year graduation. So we'll do something like that. You know, maybe get a dinner. Joe Laporta, he's around. You know, I'm sure I'll lean on him. He can lean on me. It was a big undertaking for Joe, but it was great. The 50th was great. I'm sure we could do better. We had a great turnout, but we could probably click it up a little bit. And look, we're coming around the home stretch. Whatever we could do, to chat up, share some memories. It's all good. So I'm going to wrap up for now, Matt. What else do we have? Pretty good? All righty. Till next time.